What's going on, everybody? Vince Goodrum here. It's Sunday evening and just got my new computer set up. I had actually got it last week there, so I was going to do a live stream this morning, but because I was trying to set this thing up there and I was having a couple of issues there, I've went ahead and postponed it until next week here. So today I wanted to talk about a couple of things that were missed there just recently, such as the Prague Pro that just happened this weekend, as well as, and I've been getting a lot of requests about my opinion about the split of the IFBB. So first and foremost, I'm going to knock out the Prague Pro really quickly. A lot of people thought that Raleigh Winkler shouldn't have won, but to be honest with you, the placings were kind of interchangeable. Everyone is coming off the biggest show of the year, that being the Mr. Olympia. Dexter Jackson was off, William Benacki was off, and Raleigh Winkler, he was somewhat off, but he was the one that was the least off there. So honestly, in my opinion, the placings itself could have been interchanged at any time. I don't think anyone would have had an issue with Dexter winning, William Benacki winning, or in this case, Raleigh Winkler winning there. One thing that Raleigh Winkler needs to work on there, now that he has his qualification and has punched his ticket for the Mr. Olympia, he doesn't need to do any more shows whatsoever, and he needs to focus solely on the Mr. Olympia. If he needs to get some extra money, do a couple of guest poses here. At this present time there, nobody really remembers the Grand Prix show. The Grand Prix show is more or less like a tour of the athletes there. It's not going to show them at their best shape whatsoever. And so nobody really remembers the Grand Prix winners. There's only two contests that most people remember, and that's the main Arnold Classic champion as well as the Mr. Olympia. Those are the only real two titles that actually matter these days. The Ironman Pro is no longer there, so there used to be some other prestigious shows at that mid-level range, but right now the two main shows that only matter is the Mr. Olympia and the Arnold Classic. Now, Ruley, he can either do the Arnold Classic, but I honestly think that he should just take the rest of the year off and mostly next year and just get prepared for the Mr. Olympia. But we'll see what his plans are. He may actually decide to go for that Arnold Classic. The Arnold Classic is not too bad of a show. You can win a lot of money there, so and it is a very prestigious title there. But at the end of the day, everybody wants to win that Mr. Olympia. And now's a better time ever since Phil Heath had gotten that hernia surgery. And that's going to really affect him next year, because with having a double hernia surgery, that's going to really affect the way his waist looks. So at that point in time there, come contest time, Phil Heath is definitely not going to be 100% even after a year of healing. So anyone at this point in time can actually step in and become Mr. Olympia. But that's only if they concentrate and they work hard at it and, simply catch, Phil Heath off guard. And I think this is a opportune time for Raleigh Winkler or any other athlete that is looking to become Mr. Olympia, basically just go on and get it done there. That's the same thing that Dexter Jackson did in 2008. Jay Cutler was slipping. Dexter Jackson became Mr. Olympia. Most people didn't expect him. I think Ruley does have that opportunity at this point in time. He now has a full year of rest, so he can come in, trim up, get the adjustments that he needs to have done, and he'll be a serious contender for the title. So that's all I really have to say about the show. I know people have been talking about Nathan D. Ashe or so forth, saying that he's coming, and honestly, I'm not quite impressed with him. His posing is a little bit very funky, especially his front double biceps. He poses a little too much like this here, so he needs to really control his posing, and there's a lot of refined parts that he really needs here. He's big on stage, but if he's standing next to a Phil Heath or a Kai Greenlight physique, he's just going to get simply dwarfed. He needs to put on more size. He needs to refine it a bit. He needs to simply get better, But impressive placing for, the show itself there. So, at least he's got some people looking out there, and, chances are, just from this appearance, he may pick up some sponsors. More money in the bank means more resources in order to achieve your goals of becoming Mr. Olympia or Arnold Classic champion, depending on where it's at there. But that's all I got to say as far as the Prague Pro is concerned. Now, the big thing that everyone was wanting me to touch base on is my personal opinion between the IFBB splitting up there. I know a lot of these media people, RX Muscle and MD, are saying it's huge news, it's great and incredible news. Me personally, I have as much interest in either of these two as putting a dime in the parking meter. Here's the real situation here. I don't see this lasting for very long, maybe for less than a year. The reason being is because the IFBB US League is not going to make much of a dent internationally, and the International League vice versa. Honestly, I don't think neither one of these two organizations can live without each other, So, and each group has a legitimate claim to the IFBB title itself there. I know the IFBB Pro League is claiming themselves to be the real league there, but truth is, IFBB Elite Pro is a legitimate organization there. It's not like the PDI, and it's not like the Inspire League that Lee Thompson, well, I don't even want to discuss him there. I was actually about to sue him a couple of years ago for that shit that he pulled, but, fuck him anyway. But getting back on subject here, both organizations have a legitimate claim to that IFBB title. And, the sad thing about it is that, the International League runs a couple of great shows, such as the Nordic Pro. I was very impressed with that show. And they have a wide range of athletes there. And I think it's just going to really lessen the amount of competition international-wise there. And the biggest issue that I can actually see happening there is that some of the international competitors, when they step on U.S. soil and compete in U.S.-based contests, they may be relegated into other positions there, depending on how you see the way politics are, But we'll just see how things go. In my opinion, honestly, the reason why they both split up, I think, was just because of a minor beef there. I don't think it was enough to where it really warranted, this type of split whatsoever. But I would honestly say give it about a year, and both of them will be back together, as Forrest Gump says, like peas and carrots here. But that's all I got to say on this show here. I also do want to thank everyone. I'm now over 10,000 views on videos. Subscription base has picked up, and the Anabolic Mayhem site is getting a lot more traffic. So, I really have you guys to thank there for supporting the channel. I want to do a lot of other great things for you guys, and just give you my real background. I mean, the real thing about it is that, you have a lot of these bodybuilding media organizations that they have their own personal interests. They're sponsored by supplement companies. They're sponsored by this, and you don't know where the real shit is here, and that's the reason why I established this YouTube channel there, just to give you the real facts on it there. So again, Prague Pro, congratulations, Ruli. Take the year off there, seriously, and make the adjustments needed to become Mr. Olympia, because at the end of the day, that's the big title. As far as the IFBB is concerned, well, it is what it's going to be honest with you here. Both of them will be back together in no time. You can trust me on that. I would say within a year or so, they'll work out whatever differences they have and they'll be back together again. I don't see this lasting too long. I don't see one group eating the other group there, because the truth of the matter is, both organizations need each other, because, when it comes to bodybuilding, it's already a very small community. So we all need to stay together in order to make sure that this bodybuilding community does indeed grow, and splitting up the organizations is not a great way. And I think once cooler heads prevail, and they see, and they run a couple of, and once the IFBB Pro League tries to run some shows, and they flunk at it, and then the IFBB Elite Pro runs a couple shows and fails miserably at it, I think both of them are going to come together and just get back together and, just go on with life there. That's just my opinion. But you guys have a good rest of the Sunday and take care. And next week we'll have another round of, this Vince Goodrum channel. Y'all take care.